So my name's Robin Carhart-Harris. I head up a research group at Imperial College London with a Centre for Psychedelic Research. We focus on how psychedelic drugs work in the brain and how they may be therapeutically useful. So for so long, doing the research that we've been doing at Imperial, and really especially when we've started to venture into the clinical space beyond the brain imaging work, one of the dilemmas that we have is, what do we do when people don't meet the criteria for our studies, or maybe they've even been in our studies but they fall back into a malaise and they're suffering again? Where can we refer people? That's very, very difficult problem, and part of the problem in my eyes has been looking around at what's happening with psychedelics. I can easily celebrate, obviously I'm biased, but the development of the psychedelic science and medicine. But I'm a bit on the fence when I look at all the emergence of retreats and people claiming to, be wise shamans or whatever, and perhaps, do they really have the lineage? Have they done the work and such like? So there's a question mark in my mind, and for that reason, we've never really referred anyone anywhere. But just over time, and I'm speaking very genuinely here, there was a certain place that people would talk about where they said, look, they're a professional outfit. They do it very thoroughly. It's a bit expensive, but there's probably good reason for that. That the stamp of quality is there with this place. And then people in our research team visited this place, and they came back, and it was glowing reports, and that was synthesis. And so that counts for a huge amount. And then really, because of that, and also through scientific collaborations, we've just come to see more and more that they're synthesis are an impressive outfit. And so to lend myself as a scientist to the synthesis operation, I'm very comfortable with. It feels like a good fit. In terms of how I can help as a brain scientist and researching the therapeutic potential of psychedelics, I guess I could bring a grounding and a knowledge base to the operation. Flesh out and at least attempt some answers to some of the big questions that people have after big experiences or before they go into this potentially scary space. As to what's going to happen, what happens in my brain. I think people like that kind of concreteness sometimes, especially some people that are that way inclined. They want to understand a little bit about what it's going to be doing in the brain. They might be nervous enough to ask, is this going to damage me? Does it damage the brain? And those kind of things I can address, because as things stand right now, there's no evidence that psychedelics do anything damaging to the brain. I wouldn't even want to say that they do anything clearly that's good. They certainly change the brain in a certain way, increasing neuroplasticity, for example, the ability of the brain to learn more easily, but also unlearn some things, the kind of thing that you might want if what you've learned is bad for you, like an addiction, So it's a window of opportunity, and that's what we see when we look at the brain. It's just a change, a kind of innocent change in a way. And then the direction that change goes in is really all about the therapy and the contextual framing, I would say.